go live from here. And we're live with a lot of delay and some issues, as I figured out, because the live stream did not start. So sorry for those who were waiting. It should now work, right? Let me restart because I was already telling a lot of things. So in this case, sim update number 4 has been released, as you know. Sim update number 4 has been released, which brings a lot of interesting things. First of all, it bumps up the version to version 1.6.32.0, which is really nice. And also there's the disclaimer, right? If you're having outdated packages, then move them out your community folder. If you want to provide feedback, there's always that forum post which you can use where you can provide your feedback. That's always good to have. Now, my idea was to first go to the release notes. I do it very quickly because they are simply enormous. I didn't count all the rows, but it simply, I would say, is crazy. So the first thing I'm going to cover is the new items, because there's some new items, especially this one, right? The Vortex Ring Protection Assistance, which is added for helicopters. That one is super interesting. Besides that, there are some nice, I would say, graphic optimizations, but those are there for, I would say, a reason. I doubt that they are very useful for you, but hey, let's see. If we look at the stability and performance fixes, the list is enormous. It contains optimized gross rendering, it contains a lot of fixes, as you can see, for the world map, the HC, the smart camera system, the flight planner, let's say the added new parameters, the CFDs, which were not compatible. But also there are some really interesting things, which I now skipped, are these two lines. These two lines are super interesting because it says optimization of CPU main thread. This means that they are now using multi-threading for additional processes, right? You can also see that here it said now for the event display. So likely they optimized that specific part of the code, which means more and more processors are now, I would say, moved to multiple cores, which should benefit you. Will you still see the main CPU thread? Likely you will see that morning still, if you, I would say, are measuring your performance, right, which you can do in the developer tools. But normally I would say it should have improved. Then if we go to the crashes, you can see numbers of crashes, and especially the WASM one is pretty interesting, especially if you're using third-party ones, or third-party aircrafts, I should say. Then you likely will be affected by this, or it could have been affected. So there's now some improvements there. The HC menu is improved, although I have my doubts about that. And also some other nice things have been fixed, like the camera system, the aircraft and location system. They also misusage of sweep parameter in the new airplane, HTML object surfaces. And if we scroll down further, we can see some other things, like the memory leaks. Memory leaks in the HC window if you left it open. Well, I always try to shut it down or to close it, but if you left it open, then you could see a potential crash. Same thing is for, I'd say, this one is also interesting, right? The crash that could occur in thin city areas. Thin, right? Triangulated irregular networks, if I'm correct. Maybe I'm saying it incorrect, but this is something which is really nice that they fixed it now. Then they added some new player replication models for the multiplayer mode, and they added some other nice fixes. You can see it list is enormous, right? If we go to the general bug fixes, we can all see a lot of fixes there. And these general bug fixes are both, let's say, applicable to Flight Simulator as in the product itself, but also sometimes for specific aircrafts, for specific sections of the Flight Simulator. I do think that most of them are, I would say, pretty cool. There are some textual fixes, as you can see, some company fixes, some crashes in the gouges, which is, I would say, also being experienced by a lot of people. And this list is also pretty long. Install performance and graphics. If we look at this one, there's one which is pretty interesting. I already discussed in one of my previous videos. There's now an added community 2024 folder. This folder is used to share community packages between Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024 without making this iteration load packages. What does that mean? Well, if I go to my community folder, right, I stored it on my drive here. You can now see the community 2024. In my case, it's empty, but you could decide to put items in this folder which are shared both by 2020 and 2024. I would say I would stay away from it, but of course it's up to you if you want to do that. Besides that, they added some fixes to make sure that the speed up of the first boot or updates is quicker. They mitigated black patches in the water, and they also fixed the UI flickers with the FSR3 and NVIDIA DLSS enabled. Going down, we see more fixes, right? For the G1000 NXI, for example. They fixed various things where the VPAF was not shown correctly, but also there was an issue where the nearest airport menu did not show any airport in some regions. And if we scroll down, we can see other things also. What you always see is that these, I would say, systems have overlapping fixes because they're under the hood, they're using the same code likely, which is also applicable to the Garmin G3X Touch as well as the GNS ones. So a lot of fixes for the navigation systems, as you can see. Also some double out entries, but hey. The Pro line also received some fixes. And then we're going to the physics. Not too many fixes, to be honest, here. Only a few ones. It looks like that for the C172 and the Extra 330 LT there was a fix. They fixed some MOIRO recalculation during the in-simulation weight. And they also made some changes to the flight system, of course. I'm going really quick to this because I know that you want to see how it is, right? I know how you want to see how it is in Flight Simulator itself, but a few minutes and then we can start with that. If we look at this, we can see a majority of fixes, specifically in the Pilot Book app, but also in the Aircraft app. There are some fixes now. Also some fixes, for example, to calculate the maximum weight. And also in a flight planner, there are some fixes. I know some of you might be using the Navigraph, like the SimBrief integration, but this is also nice for those who are not using it. Aircrafts. This list is also pretty big. Let me know via the chat which one you're interested in. If you're interested in one of the fixes. If not, then I will quickly jump. You can see that if we're looking at the number of fixes, right? If I go really fast, you see that the Boeing, which is over here, 737 MAX, that one received most fixes. This is the one which really wins from that perspective. But other ones could still, I would say, have some interesting fixes. Although I think the Boeing received most interesting fixes, to be honest. Going down, you can see the aircraft tag and the model behavior did not change that much. Also, the HC not that much. Pre-flight and also not that much. And then the career mode, they also fix some things. And they also have a specific category for the general bug fixes, which likely is for the, I'd say, which one is this? General bug fixes, right? General ones. So fix the ATC. I'm always struggling a little bit with these ones because it looks like that these are, I would say, really, duplicated. So brings us to a lot of other fixes, including airport fixes, etc. Fixes for the roads, fix for the marketplace, the My Library, the controls. I will likely create a special video for this one to go to it in detail. But another nice thing is, of course, Red Bull Air Races. They're back in Flight Simulator 2024. And we're going to have a look at that, I would say, as we speak. Because I'm kind of done with this release notes. One funny thing could be if we're using, in this case, Copilot, right? To ask, okay, hey, can you tell me how many items are fixed based on the info on this page? So let's see. In the meantime, welcome to the stream. So I started the chat also. So what it says, it contains a lot of fixes, right? Based on the release notes visible in your current page, it will contain a lot of things. It says here 16 items, but I don't believe it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say copy this link and then go to Gemini, right? So count the number of fixes. 2024 sim update number 4. Based on this doc. So in the meantime, right, well, this thing is thinking. How do you get the update? Well, that's relatively easy, right? You first go to your Xbox store, then you go to the downloads and make sure that all the items are updated. You will likely see that it will be updated today. In some case, you have, I would say, a lot of other updates, but please make sure that you update everything because else you might experience some issues. In my case, I will click on update all, but since I participated in sim update number 4, the beta program, I don't think that I will get it. Because there was a forum post where it says, okay, hey, you likely won't get it because we will stay for a few days in that between brackets beta version, and then I will continue with, I would say, hopefully being merged into the official version. So let's give this some time, although I don't think that there are a lot of things which will help. In this case, the Xbox app is there, but the other ones are likely not fixing it. So let's start Flight Simulator 2024, right? Let's start it. Let's see what's happening. See, number of participants who are watching the stream goes up and down, right? So welcome to my channel. Welcome to this live stream. It was an unplanned live stream because I didn't know for sure when sim update number 4 was released, but now it's there, right? So let's have a look at how it looks like. This is, by the way, sim update number 4, still the beta, but according to the release notes, this should be the final version which you will all receive, which are not participating in the beta. What you will likely see is that initially the screen is a little bit bigger, so I need to make some adjustments to my screen, because what happens always, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one, if you get an update for Flight Simulator 2024 sim update number 4, but also for Flight Simulator 2020, by the way, it kind of forgets your streams, right? It forgets your resolution, and then you need to reconfigure everything, which of course not what you want to do. Now it looks like that the resolution is a little bit mixed up, so I will reset it. I would say set it correctly, and then we can continue. So let's see how that works. For those who are, I would say, watching the stream, let me know what you want to see first. Do you want to first go to the Red Bull Air Racing? Do you first want to see the Boom XB-1, or do you want to see something else? I really would say challenge you, and I would say challenge me to see what you, or to tell me what you want to see. Just asking for confirmation if everybody can hear me clear, because that's always a challenge for me to see if that works. It looks like that it works, but I always double checking if that's the case. So in this case, we're having the chat, right? Feel free to ask any questions in the chat if you want, or any suggestions are more than welcome. So currently it's loading the screen, right? We're loading the screen and we're looking at it, and this looks pretty nice. So what I'm gonna do for now is I'm gonna quickly switch on the audio on my other laptop. So yeah. So that was to just confirm that the audio works, and the audio works. So let's go to start, and then I'm first gonna reset my resolution. But see this, right? You see this is the activities menu. It says, hey, the Red Bull Air Races are back. So I can go to the activities menu, but prior to doing that, I of course need to change my resolution. This is indeed a resolution which I normally play on, but I need to change it to this because then everything looks a little bit better for those who are watching the stream. If we look at this, right, these are the Red Bull Air Races. So it says, okay, hey, it was officially launched in 2003. Red Bull Air Race World Championship has become globally renowned as one of the most exhilarating motorsport series on the planet, right? Every flight is between 5 and 6 kilometers long tracks, and you need to fly it as fast as possible. There, of course, are all some rules and some penalties which you can get. And here are the flights, right? So let's hit the next button, and then let's see what flights are included. So we've got Abu Dhabi, we've got Chiba, we've got Budapest, we've got Spielberg, we've got Rio de Janeiro, and we've got Monument Valley. Then of course the question is how to play, right? You can always use the H for that, but let's see how it looks like. So of course we're gonna start at Spielberg because that's the home of Red Bull Racing. So the difficulty is shown here, right? It's novice, the rules are the simplified, traffic layout is introductory, assistant control sensitive timeout, service controls limiter. Those are the items which you can't select yet. I'm still not gonna connect my Xbox controller, because I do think that that one could be, I would say, a viable solution to play with. I don't think that, for example, my normal Turtle Beach controller will be, I would say, suitable for doing these kind of things. So drop in the, let's say, comment box which controller you would like to use to, let's say, kind of play this on your Xbox or PC. Do you prefer the Xbox controller or maybe the joystick? So what we can see now is that we can change the, let's say, true to life, right? We can make it ourselves really hard, or we can change the other options. We can change it to novice, and this is the menu which you can use to change the difficulty settings. We can also change the assist control settings, the surface controls limiter, and we can also practice. Well, maybe that's a good idea. Let's start practicing it for the first time. So this is Spielberg, right, known for the Formula 1 track. You probably know it, and this is how it looks like. So here we go. Spielberg, here we go, and let's see. It also gives us some tips, right? We can sit on the smoke.
When turning into a chicane, pull up slightly to counteract the loss of altitude.
It says here, okay, oh, I need to do, this is really crazy, but it still is pretty cool.
For the vertical loop, pull up hard.
Okay, now I need to do a loop.
Keep pulling until you're pointing toward the next gate. Then roll the aircraft until it's facing upright.
So likely we need to go this way, but I'm not sure, right? Because I would say I'm a little bit puzzled. Probably I'm going into the correct direction. Yeah, here we go. So we need to go into this direction. So let's do that. Let's see how far we can come. Here we go again. It doesn't look good, to be honest. Well, here's the finish line. And I crashed into the finish line. I'm not sure if this is really, I would say, the way you should fly it. But here we go again. Likely we missed it, right? Yes, we missed it, definitely. So you need to do the loop. And if we do the loop, we now need to change somewhere, or I would say direction. Oh, here we go. Now it's clear. Now it's also clear for me. So always pretty cool. So this is lap number 1 of 2, right? We didn't, I would say, touch all gates. Here we go again to the next one. And this becomes interesting, right? Where do we need to go to now? Pretty interesting. Cross the boundary. Yeah, but that's where you sent me, right? I needed to go into this direction. Likely I needed to go here. So let's do it again. Let's do it again. Again, for those who are just checked in, I'm playing, I would say, Flight Simulator 2024 using my Xbox controller, and then I would say try to practice this nice Red Bull Air Racing on, as you can probably see, the Spielberg, which is the Formula 1 track owned by Red Bull Racing in this case, or Red Bull, to be say, to be accurate. Red Bull, and I would say we're on lap number 2 out of 2. And you can see that it requires some practicing, and I'm still curious about which controller you would use to play this. I would say the Xbox, I would say, is Xbox controller is likely the one which you, I would say, can use the best, because it allows you to quickly maneuver through all those pylons. I'm gonna practice it again. As you can see, same track. For those who checked in later, right? This is the Red Bull Air Racing mode on the Spielberg, and owned by Red Bull. And then I'm gonna show you another track in a few seconds. But of course we can also do some real air race, right? Because we of course want to do the real air race, because we're just practicing this one. It might be a good idea to always, let's say, check the timing, right? Because that's, would say, where you learn a lot, right? Where you can improve. In my case, I can see that I'm not doing it that well, to be honest. You can see I need to make a turn over here. Here we go again for lap number 2, or for the second. Is it lap number 2? Yeah, lap number 2 already. But I think I missed something, because else it's not pointing me here, right? So I'm gonna go here. Here we go again. Whoa, touch the ground a bit. So how does it look from the outside? This is how it looks like from the outside. And then you can also switch on the, let's say, kind of the stream, right? Or the, I would say, smoke. This might be easier for you if you want to fly it like this, but to be honest, I'm really, I would say, I'm already lost. So maybe I should have stayed in the cockpit. So let's see. Here we go again. We're turning, and now we're too high, and we're missing that gate. We're missing that gate. Are we? No, we just touched it, which is good, but the timing is of course not that good. And you can continue practicing until it says, okay, it's enough. But of course, this was, I would say, kind of cool. But now let's say I want to go back to the activities menu and then do the real race, right? You always saw several people tried it. I'm probably not going to beat those times, right? Because these are, I would say, simply crazy times. World record is 1 minute and 8 seconds. But I would say not under the impression that it will say that I will reach that number. So let's see if I can do. I will start challenge now. So now we're doing it for real. I'm using the Xbox controller and I'm gonna simply try to say get the best time out of it. But I don't think that I can meet that time. So 3, 2, 1. Here we go inside the cockpit. So here we go. Right. No smoke. Oh. Was not sure if I needed to switch on smoke, but it looks like I need to switch on the smoke. So here we go for the turn. And you can see that I already get penalty, right? Because I'm not using the smoke. Pretty interesting, to be honest. Here we go. Incorrect rotation. What did I do wrong, my friends? Tell it to me in the chat. What did I do wrong? Because I can't imagine that I did something wrong. Well, maybe I did, but... So here we go again for the second lap, I do think. But as you can see, 1 minute and 8 seconds is super quick. Because even if I didn't have the penalties, I would have, not survived it in that time.
Incorrect rotation.
Not to the level. Maybe I was too high, or maybe too low, likely. Well, likely too low, but hey, I would say event was successful, right? I'd say pretty nice on 1 minute 24. Well, that's not that good, right? Should we try it again? Thumbs up if we should try it again. Waiting for your response. Or should we try another one? Should I try it another time? Yes or no? So here we go, the poll starts. So please vote your casts now. It says yes or no. It says ja or nee, that's Dutch. But vote and I will give a few seconds. So it says 100% yes currently. So let's see if we get some more votes. Do we get some more votes? No, but of course we're gonna try it again because nobody said no, right? Let's try it. If you get any hints or tips, feel free to drop them in the, I would say, in the text box, right? In the comment box, because I'm really curious about this. And now 50% says no, says yes. Oh. Incorrect rotation. So likely there's something with rotation which you need to follow. And also I'd say you need to be on the correct level because else you will be penalized directly. And you will see that the penalty which you receive is, would say, pretty high. Also, if you're going too high to the gates, it's also not good for you because that's likely not what you want to do. So let's see if I can now bypass this one successfully. Yes. So the first try I was likely too low. And now I was at the perfect level, or at least I think it was a perfect level. So let's do it again. Let's turn again. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's pretty nice. So for those who are just checked in, I'm playing this using the Xbox controller because I think that's the most ideal way because it's a lot more flexible than for example, the Turtle Beach, or maybe even you're trying to use the the A320 joystick. Well, that one is likely not suitable at all. Oh, we're going too high, we're going too high, we're going to go too high. Not good, not good. But let's see if we can make it here. Right, yes, here we go. Too high. Yeah, then we're lost, right? Because we already have 8 seconds penalties. Ah, that's not good. So thanks for the support, right? Which track should we try next, right? Which track should we use next? So let's go to the activities menu, right? Let me show you the options which you have. So we have got Abu Dhabi, we've got Chiba, Budapest, Spielberg, Rio de Janeiro, and Monument Valley. Maybe I should create a poll for you because that's easier. But I'm not sure if we can add multiple items to the poll more than, say, normally listed. So I need to first close off the previous poll and then we can start a new one, right? Let me do that. I was speaking, right? So the poll has been ended. Now I start a new poll. Which track should we try next? Try. Hard to type. Abu Dhabi. Then we've got Chiba. Which is the next one? It's Budapest. We've got Rio. Oh, typing Rio de Janeiro. Oh, now I forgot to add the last one. So I've added these 4, right? Monument Valley, I will leave it as is. So which one do you want me to try? One person says, at least one person says Abu Dhabi. I will give you a few more seconds and then we will kickstart it. While we're, I would say, waiting, right, for some more, I would say, feedback. As you can see, right, this is the settings I'm currently using. I'm using the DLSS and the DLSS Super. I'm using, I would say, a lot of other things to use. See, someone says Spielberg. Well, I just played Spielberg, Josh, but maybe you checking in later. And then we've got all those nice global rendering quality settings. And here are likely some changes, although I'd say you can see that there's now the airport service quantity. There are a lot of additional settings which you can already do. I'm not sure if all of them were already there. For some reason, characters variety is in my case medium. You can also set to ultra. But be careful with these settings, especially I would say some of these settings could result in a really high impact on your CPU, but also on your GPU. Right, so I'm still waiting for some more people to vote. I see one person at least says Spielberg, which is Josh, and I see one person says Abu Dhabi. So let's see if we can get some more votes in, or maybe the other people are busy with other things. So let me keep an eye on it. So I'm gonna end the poll in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're ending the poll now. It says, okay, 1 cast, right? So it's 1 against 1. Well, since I tried Spielberg already, let me first show you Abu Dhabi, and then maybe we jump back to, in this case, the other one. So Abu Dhabi. Here you can see already a lot of players played the level, and what you also can see is that the course leaderboard is say by difficulty. So in this case, novice, rule set simplified, track layout introductory, and then you can set other options. For those who are just checked in, you can change these options once this, I would say, bottom turns yellow like it does now. And then you can say kind of move around, right? You can say, hey, I want to make it intermediate, or I want to make it super expert, like the official layout, which also changes the track layout, right? The true to life, of course, is also the track layout. So let's see what the difference is, right? This is the track layout normally. You can see it also draws the lines, how you need to fly. Pretty interesting. But if I change it to, for example, novice, you see it will adjust the circuit, so it will make my life easier, right? you can see that it changed massively. But still, I do think that you should start with this one before, say, trying it. Now, the other thing which I didn't discuss yet is that you can change the plane. So if you click change plane, it will go to this section. As you can see, we're seeing, say, nice pictures of Abu Dhabi. Let's say, let's wait for the aircraft to load, because now that, let's say, spinning wheel is shown there, and it will bring me to the hangar. This is also pretty cool, right? So this is something which they did really nice. So you can select from a number of aircrafts. The first one is the H-540 V3. It's from Team Chamblis, if I pronounce it correctly. It's the Zivco H-540 aircraft, high performance racing and aerobatic airplane with the Red Bull livery. Then the next one is Team Sanka, right? It's the H-540 V3. So it's a new version. Then we have this one, which is a different livery. It's from Matt Hall Racing. We've got the Bullet. And then if we're going to the other side of the hangar, we can see MXSR, which is, I would say, manufactured by MX Aircraft of Australia. So this is a different aircraft type. And then we've got the H-540 V2 and the Challenger one. So you can see 3 different aircraft types which you can use. I prefer to use this one, so I'm gonna say save and back, and then it brings us back. So this is really cool. I would say this is really nice, right? You can now say jump to the I would say multiple ones. Oh, now I did already start challenge without practicing. Well, let's see how that goes, right? Here we go. You can see the water is pretty nice, the weather is pretty cool. So welcome to Abu Dhabi. So we're here for the Red Bull Air Race. I'm gonna try to use it. Let's see if we can get it without being penalized. I'm using the novice mode, right? So I'm not gonna go really hard, because that probably doesn't make any sense. That requires me to, say, practice a little bit more. What you see is that they're measuring a few things. One of those things, which is really simple to avoid, is that you need to turn on the smoke. The other one is that you're too high, which is, well, between brackets, easy to resolve. Not fly too high. And then we've got those pylons. As you can see, sometimes it's really, I would say, hard, right? Not level 2, that's the warning. If you go to a high or to low, that will show you that warning. So we're already completed one round. Let's go for another one. Let's go for another one. We're too high. Yes, I know, I hit the pylon even, right? That gives you another penalty, which is not that good. So going on again, say we're going here. We're making the turn, making the turn, making the turn. Everybody still with me? Yes, we are, right? You can still see the smoke. It's pretty cool, right? It's super realistic. I'd say I love this. This is a nice mode which you can play on your Xbox console, or maybe you've got a PlayStation. If you got a PlayStation, welcome to the community, because now you can also enjoy Flight Simulator 2024 on your PlayStation number 5, right? Either if you've got the normal version or the Pro version, it's really up to you. So we're now, let's say, completed. And, well, the pilot is happy, but I do think that we can do better, right? I think especially if you look at these numbers, right? This is one of the developers likely, but we can also see some other things. So time for another poll, right? Should we try it again? Should we try it again? Starting the poll as we speak. So here we go. Should we try again? I'm gonna change it to yes and no, because previously it was not there. And this is the Red Bull Air races, right? So this is what you can get once you completed the race. While we're waiting for some more polls to, say, get started, you can also press the score details. The score details will give you, let's say, the scoring details, as well as the, let's say, penalties which you will get. Those penalties are super interesting, because that will tell you, okay, where you were too high. You did not level 2 the gate. A level 2 is likely that you fly, let's say, straight. Then when you hit the pylon, you will get penalized, and that results in 15 seconds penalty. Would we have got a better time without? Well, 125. Well, 125 is still, let's say, out of this top 5, right? Still waiting. I see that 2 people at least have voted, right? 2 people have voted. Come on, people. Put your vote here, else I need to make my own choice and need to decide if I want to try it again. So challenging you to please cast your votes because we're gonna start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the poll has ended. So based on this, what should we do? 1 out of 1. Well, if you don't mind, I'm gonna try it again because I like this track. So we already tried 2 tracks. We tried Abu Dhabi and we tried the Spielberg. Both are really nice. Modeling, must say, from modeling perspective, this one looks pretty cool. Also the weather, etc. Keep in mind that I'm playing on up as a pretty high spec video card. I have the 4090 card, and that I switch almost all the settings to ultra, so not level through the gates. So I'll receive a penalty for that 2 seconds. Let's turn around in this case. So here we go. Now we can at least level through. Whoa. It shouldn't go too high. Not level through. So you really need to go, I would say, straight to the gates, because else you will be penalized. It looks like, at least. So second round already. Where do we go to? To this pylon. Let's not hit it, because then you also get penalized. So a few important things to know is that you need to level out, which means that you really need to fly like this to the gates. You shouldn't fly too high and shouldn't fly too low. You shouldn't hit the pylon also. That's also important, but I'm not sure how we're gonna do this. Not too high. See, then you will be penalized again. So really need to practice more on not getting penalized. That already saves me some time. So it was still fun, right? Didn't you like it? I liked it. I love this mode. Probably if you simply want to, say, get flying and do some stuff, you can do this. Now let's go back to the activities menu, right? Because we can do more Red Bull Air racing. But first, let me ask you: should we do or shouldn't we do it? So let me do that. Shoot. Do another Red Bull Air race. Yes and no, because if we say no, we can also look at the other items which have been added to Sim Update number 4. And with the other items, I simply refer to, for example, there should be a new aircraft, right? The Boom XB-1. That one has been added to Flight Simulator 2024 Sim Update number 4 also. Here someone says yes. Thanks David for your feedback. So let me also then make sure that we're starting, I would say, a poll which track we should try, of course. Because the track we should try is another thing, right? Which track do we want to have a look at? I can see also, let's say, let's give it a few more minutes or seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So, David, I'm gonna ask you, which track do you want me to try? So I'm gonna ask David also in the chat. So David, feel free to respond. Which track should we try? We tried Abu Dhabi, Spielberg already. But if you checked or if you tuned in later, happy to do them. Else we're gonna do Chiba, Budapest, Rio, or Monument Valley. Spielberg. Okay, David. Let's try it again. All right. Spielberg, I already did this one, so I'm not trying this one for the first time. I'll wait to tell you. But hey, let's see how this one works. Spielberg, we're gonna do it in the novice. We're gonna not, I would say, or should we try harder? Should we try harder? Let me know via the chat. So for example, should we try novice? Should we try intermediate? Or should we try expert? Or maybe even the really daredevil? True to life. Let me know via the chat. and I will select the option you prefer, and then I'm gonna make my life pretty hard, I think. So let me know over in the chat which mode you prefer me to use. True to life. Should we try it? Harder. Okay. Let's go for harder in that case. Harder really means true to life. So let's do that. So I'm gonna start the challenge. I'm not gonna practice. I'm gonna really do it really hard. And let's see how that works. So we're at the Spielberg, the Formula 1 circuit, right? You know probably. So this becomes hard, right? You can see what they changed is also the width of the pylons. And also the crashing. I crashed already. Come on. Trying again. Did not finish. See how hard it is. So actually the novice mode is pretty easy if you would let's say ask me. So let me see. This is guys, this is super hard. When is the Strangest Thing update happening? Yeah, that's a good question. I see Captain Mason is asking it. There were some tweets on the internet on the X account of the Xbox that they will release it, but I do think it will be, let's say, maybe later this week. I'm not sure, but I didn't see it yet. Crashed again. David, you made my life pretty hard, right? Maybe we should try an easier mode. Give it one more try, but it's super complicated. Say. Also, the steering of the aircraft becomes harder, I can tell you.
Incorrect rotation. Climbing in gate. No smoke.
No smoking.
Climbing in gate.
So this is simply too hard for me. I can't do that. Sorry. So let me go back to the activities menu, but I'm gonna show you how to complete it because I think it's fair to show to David. Not sure when he checked in to show him how it normally is, right? So what changes when you change the difficulty options? It does change the rules, but it also changes apparently the, I would say, space between the gates. Because you will see that if I'm doing it right now, it becomes much easier. So my recommendation, unless you're very good at these kind of games, is start with novice, because else you will, let's say, I would say probably not make it like me, which could be a choice, right? So let's go again. So here we go. Here you can see the difference, right? Look at the space between those pylons. It's enormous. Also, if you look at the let's say spaces or the route to the pylons, it's different, right? Here you can see that I now need to, let's say, kind of slalom. I'm not sure how you say it in English. To the gates, but it's, let's say, between brackets easier because there are less pylons. So I would say my recommendation would be first try this, then challenge yourself and make your life harder. But this is, let's say, this is much easier, I can already tell you, right? And you can probably already see it's much easier if we do it this way. Still some fun. Right, still some fun going to the gates with the nice aircraft. So here we go. Here we go again. Pretty crazy. Making the turn again. Maybe I should have tried one level harder. Maybe I shouldn't say directly real to life, because that was likely a little bit unrealistic. I would say it's okay, right? Could have done better, of course, but hey, this is, I would say, pretty nice. We're already 44 minutes live when we only looked at the release notes as well as the, let's say, Red Bull Air race. Should we try another race? Let me ask by the chat. So we tried Abu Dhabi, Spielberg. So we have Chiba, Budapest, Rio or Monument Valley left. So let's see who wants me to try something. Let's see how that works. So giving it a few seconds or a few minutes to see what people want to see, because there's always a delay in the stream. What do you prefer to see? If you don't say anything, then I will choose myself, of course. And then I'm probably gonna select Chiba. Or should we select Mon or Rio? Could also be really nice. Rio. Okay, David, here we go. Rio. Here also you can see that several people already completed their race. So I'm gonna try it first at the novice level, which I again stress out. I do recommend you to try this out. And then we can either practice, or you can change the plane, or you can start the challenge. So practice is really practicing the track. So that could be, say, something which you could do, of course. I'm also gonna do it first to see how the track is. And then based on that, you can of course start your challenge by pressing the Start Challenge button. The practice one allows you to ultimately, let's say, practice. It will not stop after those 2 laps. You will continue to, say, practice your laps until you're happy with your flight. It will take a little bit more time. Might have to do with the server density. Maybe more and more people will jump on the boat. Although, no, it's still pretty fast, right? So it's still pretty cool. So here we go. Practice round. Practice round.
When turning into a chicane, pull up slightly to counteract the loss of altitude. When banking into a turn, remember to
cruise tower.